Today, an exclusive interview with Doris Day. Sons sexually abused by fathers. The Love Boat's Gavin MacLeod begins a salute to Aaron Spelling. And Woman of the Hour, Marriott.
In my secret love's no secrets anymore.
In 1972, Doris Day virtually retired from show business, or at least it seemed that way. But this past summer in Carmel, California, Doris announced her return to television in a CBN cable series on Sundays called Doris Day's Best Friends. Well, where's she been since 1972? Listen.
I didn't retire. I must tell you, I really didn't retire. I was just doing something else. I was just busy building a house and organizing my own pet foundation. And after my television series, I just, I was just feeling like doing something else. And then I moved here, which took 3 years. And I've just really loved not working, and now I'm going to love working.
Well, as you can see, she looks great and she feels great. And a few weeks ago, I went to Carmel for an exclusive visit with Doris. But first, I had the pleasure of appearing in a sketch on her show. Now, she had a flat tire, and she stopped the limousine that I was riding in to ask for help. Watch. Hi, it's Gary Collins. I'm out here on Carmel Valley Road near Route 40. Miss Day's had a little problem with her tire blowout. Can you come out here and fix it? Great. Terrific. How long? Okay. All right. He says it'd take about an hour. But no problem. Let them come out and fix...
An hour?
Let them come out and fix the tire, and then they'll drive the car in town. You come with me.
You would do that?
Sure.
Oh, that would be nice.
Okay.
But, I have some friends.
Oh, no problem.
Can they come?
Absolutely. Bring them along. Now, what Doris did... You won't see them all in this shot, but you will see what I looked like when the dogs got through with me.
Okay. Go on in now. Oh, Gary. Oh, you can't go to the banquet like that. You better come in. We'll find something for you to wear. Come on.
Now, Doris, do we have to go in there with the dogs?
Oh, come on. They love you. They wouldn't play with you if they didn't love you. Come on.
All right. Do you do that to everybody?
No.
Huh? But you do
yeah.
skits.
Yeah, we do.
On the show.
And you were a great sport, putting up with me and my dogs.
I did. I enjoyed that scene very much. Very much. I did not know. I came up here, honestly, thinking that we were just going to have a little interview.
Just sit and
sitting
talk.
out on the porch.
And sip a little
and they
coffee.
And they said, oh, by the way, bring your tuxedo.
It's good that you didn't know.
Well, all the stories, you kind of dropped out of sight there for a while, and we heard all these stories that Doris Day has become a complete recluse. She's gone to the dogs, pardon the expression. And we were wondering what's going to become of Doris Day, and suddenly you surface with this perfectly magnificent show called Doris Day's Best Friends, and it must be a dream come true on a couple of levels. First, you're doing what you've always wanted to do with animals, which started when for you?
When I was a little girl. But I didn't really do much about it until I joined a group called Actors and Others for Animals. That was in the early 70s. And then I left the group and started my own pet foundation.
You said that animals are put on this earth to teach us something. What are they here to teach us?
I did say that.
Yeah, what are they here to teach us?
Well, you see, I think that we have to work very hard trying to be good people and to express the lovely qualities. And I think that the animals have it, just, by nature. They're loyal, the most loyal things, most loyal friends you could ever have. They're so loving.
Unconditionally as well.
Unconditionally. They're so joyful. Joy is a big thing to me. I love being around joyful people, and I feel that I express a lot of joy. And my animals are always joyful. They're always wagging it. They're always thrilled to see me. And patience. They wait all day for me to come home. And they sit by the window and they watch. And the minute they hear my car, they start barking, and everybody carries on. There's just a purity about them. I love being with my animals.
One would say then, or suspect then, that life was not that terrific in the human world. I mean, for you, to devote this much time and, to be that involved with animals. And I know you've not had an easy life. You've had a very successful life on one level, but 4 marriages and some less than happy endings. Is that part of it all? Is that...
I don't look back.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I think that everything that's happened to me has helped me to grow. All these experiences, that's what, we're all going through experiences here. I made a lot of mistakes. And, but it's okay. I am very happy now and very grateful for what I have. And to be doing this show now and to go to work and be with my friends, my crew, and they're all wonderful people. It's a very joyful experience.
There's a few that I just met. A lot of you I don't know yet. We won't be alone anymore. What are best friends for? Here's the message I want to send. Right to the end, you and I. You're gonna be my best friend. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours
To see. Oh, what a song. That Doris Day hit should bring back a lot of memories for you. And as we continue our exclusive interview with Doris, we thought we'd find out what her memories are of the movies and some of the men with whom she co-starred. Take a look at these. Now, I won't mention the title. I'm sure you remember. Look at this. And there's your leading man. Cary Grant.
Oh!
What was the name of that picture?
That was The Touch of Mink.
Yeah. What springs to your mind when you look at Cary Grant?
Well, just thinking about him, he's so like I am. He's just fastidious, and he wants everything just so on the set. And in other words, he said, I want to have all my own things around me in my office. So he sent a truck to his home, and they picked up all of his things, not all of his things, but so many of his things, and they put them all around the set, and then he was happy. He had it just the way he wanted. He had all of his own little things around him, and he kept the set just so. He checks everything. And I do the same thing.
Is he a fun man? Does he have a great sense of
marvelous.
humor?
He's marvelous. But I'll never forget that about him, because I'm the same way. I love my sets. And if it's my apartment, for instance, it has to really reflect me. Now, most people don't care about that. They walk on the set, they perform, and they go off. I fix the pillows, I dust, I get the Ajax, I clean the woodwork. I do. I really do.
All right, here's another. Take a look at this.
Oh,
there he is.
The great Mr. Gable.
Yeah, and
not
so
Gig
shabby
Young.
over there, Gig Young.
Oh, my darling Gig Young.
What about Gable?
Oh, I had a wonderful time.
This is
And
Teacher's Pet.
Yes, I know. He is such a darling man, and so shy. And he'd finish a scene, and he'd say to the director, "Did I do it all right? I'll do it again for you. I'll do anything you want. Maybe it wasn't quite right."
Oh, my gosh, it's hard to imagine the king saying
the
that.
king saying that. He just wanted to please. I loved that about him. He's a gentle man. And, of course, Gig is so adorable. I say is. I keep them both here.
Yeah.
You'll notice that.
Yeah. Was he as much fun as he seemed to be?
Oh, Gig was hilarious. We just laughed all the time. I adored him. I adore him.
Here's one that I will never forget, and it has to do with that cymbal scene.
Oh, The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Yeah.
Yes, I was suffering here.
You suffered a lot.
Yes, I suffered a lot in
picture.
this movie.
And you cried a lot, too.
Oh, I cried about my little boy. I cried about, off the set, I cried about the animals in Marrakesh. Oh, I was trying to save them all, bring them all back to our country.
Yeah. Well, listen, how do you deal with $20 million just to go back for a second, how do you deal with that frustration of not being able to save them all?
Oh, I didn't deal with it very well. I told Marty I want to go home.
Well, what about today?
How do I deal with it today? I do this kind of show.
Yeah.
I do my best friend's show.
Last one. How many pictures did you do?
Oh,
How many pictures did you do with Rock?
I did. Not as many as people think.
3?
3.
But we somehow identified you two as being in much more than that.
He was so handsome
Mm.
and so funny.
Yeah.
He's maybe the funniest man I've ever known.
And I'd heard you were very shocked when you saw him,
Oh,
his appearance. We all thought it was his heart, the bypass that he'd had. And it wasn't.
he told me that it was the flu
He did?
and that he couldn't gain weight. And I was very upset. It was very hard for me.
It was in July, just a few months before Rock Hudson passed away, that he went to Carmel to help Doris Day celebrate her new show and appear as her first guest. 2 weeks after Rock Hudson died, Doris aired the show. Here is a moment from that very special program.
On the second half of this show, I'm going to be sharing with you the film that turned out to be our last visit together.
A dear friend of mine just passed away, and I've suddenly found myself in a position of re-examining my life and looking back. Is there something that I should have done, that I could have done, that I ought to do? Not in respect to him, but it made me examine
Your own life.
my own life. What about Rock's passing? What effect did that have on you? I mean, you start to look at regrets, for example.
No, I didn't do that. I just thought it was such a waste. But I just know that something good will come from this experience. I just felt that it was a terrible tragedy, and that he had so much more to give.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people loved him up there on the screen. He was something else.
Oh, yeah.
And as my friend, you know, we talked on the phone, not all the time, but we always kept in touch. And I'll miss that very much. And all his fans will miss him. And so we'll just have to see his old movies and know that we'll see him again. I think that life is eternal.
Well, I'm sure she's right. Tomorrow we're going to conclude our visit with Doris, and you'll hear how she has turned the painful events of her past into the most joyful events of the present. Now, here's what's coming up next.
I give my heart to you. Will you give me all your love? Will you swear?
Oh, this has been a terrific series. And you know, there have been a lot of memories in Doris Day's life that have been painful for her. One was the very publicized trial, which came as a result of her third husband's, Marty Melcher, his misuse of her money, which left her about $500,000 in debt. Today, Doris talks about that incident, his subsequent death, and the lessons that she's learned that make up the very content and very independent Doris Day today.
Let me talk about one thing in particular. We won't go through all of your past, but the one thing that I really admire you for is the way you pulled yourself together after Marty died.
I didn't do very well for a year.
Well, it's all right. You came back, you did a show, and what we didn't know was that the show had already been arranged and that you were really deeply, deeply in debt. And you were really just going through the motions to pay it all off. What does that do to you? In terms of...
I really didn't think too much about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was really mourning And I thought, you know, why can't I handle this? This is really something. And I said to Terry, will I ever get over this? I just somehow feel that I'll never be joyful. And it took a year. It really took a year. But time does heal. And then I was okay. I was all right. But that first year was heavy. And to go to work and try to keep my mind on my work was very hard for me.
What's the biggest change in Doris Day in the last 10 years?
Well, I hope I'm wiser. I pray for that. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Nor do you.
That's for sure.
We just hope that things go along nicely. And I'm enjoying my life so much now that it doesn't have to change.
Are you completely trusting? Still?
Well, I'm very trusting. Yes, I am. And I guess I always will be. And I think that's good.
Yeah, vulnerable?
Very vulnerable.
I've heard that about you. No, I'm kidding. What about a weakness? What's Doris's weakness?
My weakness. Well, let's see.
Maybe it's just what we said, vulnerability, which is not too bad today's market.
Maybe so.
What about her strength?
Oh, I have tremendous strength. I know that. And I know, not to be becoming religious in this, but I just know that God is my strength. And I have that.
Have you always had God in your life?
Yes. Absolutely. And I don't feel alone, and yet I'm not married now, and I love it. I do. Not that there's anything wrong with being married, because I think that's the nicest way to live, I suppose.
You get used to being alone.
Sharing,
Yeah.
sharing everything.
I remember Katharine Hepburn saying, I don't know if I ever could, because I say that's my house, that's my bedroom, that's my kitchen. Do you get the feeling like that? I mean, you built your house.
Well, I've always been married, Gary. It just seems like I've always been married.
Well, what's the best part then of
Since I was so
being
young.
unmarried?
The best part is just doing what I want to do when I want to do it, and I don't know. That's it. Being free.
All right, let's say you met someone, you're attracted to them. I mean, would marriage...
I wonder if I ever will.
Would marriage enter into it, or would just a wonderful relationship be
Marriage
satisfactory?
might.
Yeah?
Yes.
But would you have to lay ground rules out? In other words...
I want my own bedroom?
Whatever.
I probably
About
would.
being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. I mean, would that be part
I think
of it?
that's the way it should be. I think marriage is confining.
Confining in what sense? Do we share
People feel
too much? Or
tied.
do we...
That closeness, it's just that togetherness, I think, is really terrible. I think it's good to a point, and it's nice to share, as I said before, but I think that it's too much togetherness.
Let's talk about something very near and dear to you, and that's your grandson.
My grandson.
Doris Day is a
Oh,
grandma.
he should be here.
Well, his mommy and daddy were here today.
Yes,
This is
Terry and I are
Jackie's.
always here, and Jacqueline came out to visit, but Ryan was in school, in kindergarten, or nursery school. I don't know where he was, but he's
How old
going
is
to
Ryan?
be, he's just a little over 2. And he takes after me, loves the dogs.
Is this a point in your life, with everything else going on, is this a point where you, in your wildest imagination, could not have hoped to be in some years ago? I mean, are you completely happy where you are right now? Could you ask for more?
I have so much. I have so much. But the main thing is my thinking. Because you can have all of the material things and not be content, and not have happiness within. And so the material things aren't important. But they are important when you appreciate them and enjoy them and just express gratitude
But that doesn't come overnight.
Well, maybe not. But I've always been that way, I think. I really am grateful for what I have, and I have an awful lot.
certainly we are very grateful to Doris Day for allowing us to be one of the few interviews she has done since returning to television. And I must say, she is still as vivacious and obviously as attractive. And now with her new show, it's just a wonderful life for her. We wish her the best with Doris Day's Best Friends every Sunday on the CBN cable network again. Thank you, Doris. Now here's what's coming up next.